Welcome, friends, to the Brent Daniels live show. Let's go full screen here, please. There we go. Let me tell you a little bit secret about real estate investing, being a real estate agent, being a real estate wholesaler. 75%. This is something that nobody talks about, and this is absolutely critical. 75% of your income is going to come in 6 months. In 6 months. So if as you're planning, I know you are, your 2025 goals, and you've got that number in mind, 100,000, 250,000, $1 million, whatever it is, remember 75% of your income for next year is going to come in 6 months. Let me break it down even further so that this makes more sense. Okay, let's say that you want to make $250,000. All right, 250,000. This is more what it looks like. This is what scares everybody. This is what screws everybody up in their first 3 years of business. Because in our mind, we're kind of like, okay, all of our bills come on a monthly basis. All of our expenses are on a monthly basis. We're used to getting either paychecks on a monthly basis, maybe rent checks on a monthly basis, whatever else, right? Everything's kind of in our mind, in our society, built around every 30 days. We owe a mortgage, we owe a car payment, we owe insurance, we owe the cable bill, electric bill, all these other things, right? It does not happen that way in real estate. Let this sink in, absorb this, because everybody I know in their first 36 months, in their first 3 years, I certainly was like this. I've coached thousands of people. I get the text every single day, guys. I got a text this morning from Ethan. Incredible. He's in college. He's like, I haven't closed a deal in 2 months. And I have to remind everybody, listen, it happens. 75% of your income comes in 2 quarters, comes in 6 months. Okay, it's not going to be even. You're not going to make the same amount every single month. It looks more like this. You have a big month, and then you have nothing. And then you have a little month, and then you have a bigger month, and then you have a little month, and then you have nothing. Then you have a huge month, and then you have nothing. And then you start building and building and building and building. Now, the reason for this is a few different things. One, in our first 3 years, we're still on Bambi legs as entrepreneurs. We truly are. We're all over the place. Shiny object syndrome. We start getting crazy when we get a $50,000 wire into our account that we've never had before. We're like, oh my gosh, breaks our brain. We start getting all these crazy ideas. Our ego starts getting inflated. We start thinking we're geniuses. And listen, I'm talking this all from personal experience, okay? Also, a lot of coaching, right? And so we get distracted. We have shiny object syndrome. We're all over the place. And so we don't stay consistent with our lead generation, or we start implementing new lead generation into our business, and it takes time for that to really start getting to the point where we're actually closing deals, right? Where all the lead generation is coming to fruition and we're actually getting paid on those. But this is really important to understand. 75% of your income will come in 6 months. So don't get crazy. Don't lose your mind here. Certainly don't lose your mind here. In that streak where you're like, oh my gosh, I've only made $33,000 in 4 months. But in January, I made $50,000, right? And don't listen to all the people out there that are like, I make $400,000 a month. Anybody that says that they make the same amount every single month is lying to you. That's an absolute fact, okay? That is what it is. So just remember, stay consistent with your lead generation. Understand that there's seasonality to our business, okay? All businesses have seasonality. Do you know how much money retail makes during this period right now, during Christmas? It's like all of their money. I'll give you an example. I'm running TV ads here to buy houses, right? The average ad costs $30. $30 to run it on network on Fox, NBC, ABC, all those things locally here, right? $30 a commercial. During the election, it jumped up to $1,000 a commercial. They make all their money during certain seasons, all right? This is the same with roofers. It's the same with air conditioning companies. It's the same with plumbers. It's the same across the board. Understand that in a 6-month period, you're going to make 75% of your income. So stay focused. Don't lose your mind. Don't start, hiring people and doing all the crazy stuff that we do once we get a big check wired into our account, okay? And stay consistent. Good. I think I beat that up well enough. Next. Guys, I'm telling you, 2025 is going to be absolutely bananas, but we have to make the decision. We have to make the decision in this business. Is this a must or is this a want? I get this question a lot. What's the difference, Brent, between your superstar students and the people that really build multi-million-dollar businesses and the people that only do a couple deals a year? This. Must versus want. All right? You must not want to be average. You must not want to have $500 in your savings account like 68% of the US population. You must not want to be sitting there controlled by somebody else in a job. You must want to be able to be the person in your family, in your whole environment that is inspiring people to do amazing things. It cannot be a want. Want fizzles out. Want is gone. Want is like, yeah, I want it, but does it have to happen? This is where we make the decision. Step number 1 for 2025 to make 2025 the absolute best year possible for your real estate business is you have to make the decision that this is a must. It's not a want. If it is a must, nothing can stop you. Nothing. I am telling you, I have seen people that barely speak English. I've seen people that are completely introverted. I've seen people that have the extreme lack of confidence do unbelievable in this business because they must do it. They have a bigger why. The must is the why. The must is not the want is kind of like what, right? The want is okay. Yeah, this is the thing that I want, and it feels good. But this is the why. This must happen. You got to be focused on this. If you don't have this, don't even start this business. It'll chew you up and eat you alive, and you'll just be bitter about it, right? If you're at that point where I must have control of the time I have left on this planet, that's how you start this next year. That's how you start 2025. And by the way, 2025 is going to be, it's coming. It's going to be such an incredible year. It's going to be you can already feel it. You cannot understand the flood of investors that are coming back into our world, that are texting us now, that are responding to us now, that are blowing us up, that are opening up our email blasts, that are responding to our emails, responding to the properties that we put out there. The people out there that are like, hey, I have some money. I want to put it into real estate. How can you help me do that? It's just electric right now. It's building and building and building. I don't know if it's post-election stuff. I don't know what it is, but 2025, if you ask all of the people that have been in this business over 10 years, we have the feeling. It's in the gut. It's in the belly. There's electricity in the market. And so this is the perfect time for you to make that decision if it's a must. And that goes back to passion versus purpose. Passion's a flash in the pan. Passion's going to get you up. Passion's going to get you excited. Passion's going to hit all those synapses in your brain and just electrify you. And you're like, yes, I'm going to do this. But you got to tap into that real why. These things have to be in alignment, right? The must and the purpose. It has to be your purpose to go out there and serve your community. It has to be your purpose to go out there and help investors find the absolute best deals. It has to be your purpose to go out there and solve those problems of the people that won't solve them themselves in the marketplace. And there's 6 to 10% of the market is in distress. 6 to 10%. That's millions of properties are in distress at all times. Just depends on where you live, right? 6% if you're in a major market where things are really hot and people really want to live there. 10% if you're in a smaller market and it's, the economics aren't really there. Usually it's areas that the price point is under 300,000. The median sale price is under 300,000. Over 300,000, it's usually about 6%. But we have 143 million properties. We have 143 million properties. 6%, 10%. That's 10 to 14 million properties at all times. It's a absolute conveyor belt of opportunities. It's never ending, okay? So it's out there. The opportunity's out there. It's right there. Is it a must for you? Is it a must that you must learn this business? Is it a must that you must learn all the different techniques to squeeze out opportunities from every single person that you talk to? I'm going to talk about it in just a second. All right? But you got to tap into this. This is how we start 2025, baby. Must and purpose. What is the why? What are we doing this whole thing for? Okay? Awesome. Are we rocking and rolling? Are we rocking and rolling? How are we feeling? Guys, put in the chat if you're feeling good. By the way, guys, if you're new to the show, make sure that you hit the subscribe. Make sure that you hit the like button. And that helps out the channel and helps us to get our message out to as many people as possible. Because again, millions of opportunities. There's more opportunities than there are us. That's an absolute fact. All right. Now, I want to get into this right here. Boom. Here we go. Guys, in 2025, we have to get better. 2025, we have to have more options besides just cash as is offers. Cash as is offers is the backbone. It is the bread and butter. It is that fast capital gains. It is that fast active income that we're going to get. But we have to have other options. Number one, if you don't have a real estate license, I would get one. I would get one. I don't like taking tests. Stop it. I don't like going to, and going to school. I hate school. Stop it. Grow up. Educate yourself. Get a license. Seriously. Get a license so that you can just refer retail leads to somebody else and get a referral fee. You can't legally get a referral fee unless you have a real estate license. Okay? And I think it's so powerful. You get access to the MLS. You get easy introductions to real estate agents that are going to send you business because they trust you. You've been through it. You have to understand, I've had my license since 2004. And when you're in a brokerage, every single brokerage meeting on a monthly basis, they go, watch out for these investors. Watch out for these people that are going to these seminars. Watch out for these people that are listening to podcasts. Watch out for these YouTube university people. They don't respect you. They don't respect you because you haven't gone through the education to actually understand what you're talking about. When you're talking to a real estate agent, you want to talk to a property owner and stay away from real estate agents, great. But I'm telling you, getting a real estate license gets you past that. It's like a trial by fire. It's going through it and it's a feather in your cap. You never have to represent somebody. You never have to list a property. You never have to help somebody buy a property. But I think it's really, really, really smart to get your license. And you could do it online. You could take your time with it. You pass 2 tests, cost you probably $1,100, and you got a real estate license. I think it's really, really, really smart to put that in your plan for 2025. I really do. I think it's time that we start upgrading. Start going to a little bit higher level of education with it. And they'll just teach you the nuts and bolts. They're not going to teach you sales. They're not going to teach you how to comp. They're not going to teach you any of the real stuff, income producing parts of this business, but it's going to give you a level up. And if nothing else, if I'm not convincing you on that, you get 50% referral fee. We'll make 6 figures this year just referring retail business to our real estate agent team and receiving the referral fees. It's really, really, really smart. All right. Think about it. Next, understanding novations. All right. Understanding how to, if a property has the ability to get conventional financing, you should be able to know how to do novations. If you don't know how to do novations, you need to work with somebody that does. Rich Wonders is fantastic at it. He does a great job. You can check him out. You can find him on Instagram, Richard Wonders, and just work with him, right? Just work with somebody for the first few until you get the hang of it. I think that that's a better plan than paying, maybe $5,000-$10,000 for a course and you don't really get as much support. If you give somebody a novation and they get a good chunk of that, whatever it is, 50% of that deal, they're going to help educate you. And it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. But you need to know what you're looking for there. And you need to know what to send them, because you don't want to be sending people that are very busy and very high level. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Alejandra's in there as me in the chat, the Novation King. There you go. You can reach out to Rich Wonders there and learn that. It's going to be really, really important that you have that. Okay. Next is flips. Ooh, this is interesting. I think for your first 12 months, you should stay away from buying any rentals and any flips in this business. I think build the skill of generating the opportunities and then start adding some of these other strategies like raising funds, doing the flips. But I think as we're getting into this market and as we have a new, at least the executive branch, and some new movements in the government, I think it's going to open up the economy. And when the economy is good, that's the time to really squeeze the most out of every deal. And that's when you do flips. It's when you do flips. So think about it. If you're past your first year in this and you've done, let's say, over 10 deals, maybe 15 deals, maybe 20 deals, consider doing some flips. All right. I don't think that, but make sure that it's not a huge distraction. Make sure that you've got your processes in place. But I think it's going to be a good run up. Just watch the inventory. This is what you really want to watch right here. Okay. Watch how many months of inventory you have in your marketplace. All right. Let me remove this just so that I can make this clear. Let's go over here. Months of inventory is the actives on the MLS divided by the pendings. Okay? How many properties are under contract? Pending means that they put it on the market and a buyer said, hey, I want to buy it. The contract is on there. Now it's under contract. It's going through the inspection. It's going through the appraisal. It's going through the lending process. It's going through title and escrow. And so this is really what you want to pay attention to. This is the number one factor. Number one factor you want to pay attention to is the pendings. Okay? Because this is telling you what's happening right now. Now, if this is, and I'll go over here, you have to make some adjustments based on what you can offer. You need to make adjustments on your offer price based on this factor right here. This is the number one factor, supply and demand. That's it. That is the only factor. So let's take a look at this. Boom. If you have more than 2 months of inventory, then you're going to be 70% minus repairs, minus your whole, that's the wholesale price, minus your fee is your max allowable offer. Okay. If you have less than 2 months, you can go 80%. And if you have less than 1 month, you can go 90%. But I am telling you right now, the average is 4 months of inventory. You should be living in that 70% minus repairs. Now, what I highly suggest you do is you go and find the inventory in the zip codes that you are locking up your deals or that you're negotiating your deals. Get it super, super, super hyper local. Find it hyper local. Don't just go, oh, what's the state doing? What's this whole county doing? Because I know here in Maricopa County, there's a big difference between Buckeye, Arizona and Scottsdale. There's a big difference between Paradise Valley and Apache Junction. Okay. There's a big difference between zip code 85018 and 85042. All right. There's big differences there. And so get it hyper local. What is the amount of inventory in the zip codes that you're looking at? Okay. And that is what is the actives minus over the pendings. It's very easy to do.
If you have a real estate license with the MLS, you can also do it on realtor.com. I can show you that later. If you have questions about that, you could do it right on realtor.com. It's very easy to do. Okay. Awesome. Guys, by the way, put in your questions. This is a live show, and the point of that is so that we can answer your questions and make sure that you have all of the armor and all of the ammunition you need to go out there and take massive imperfect action every single day and find some really great opportunities and really serve your community and the property owners of your community that are in just rough situations, right? That's what we do. We look for problem properties or personal problems, and that's what we solve. That is why we get paid so much, because real estate agents don't do it. Attorneys don't do it. The homeowner themselves don't do it. That's why we exist. We exist because we go out there and we solve those problems. All right. So make sure you put in any questions. We have an incredible show for you today. We've got Tom Croll, my coach, your coach, everybody's coach, the coach of the coaches. He's the absolute best. He's going to be on here in about 8 minutes. I got Rafael Cortez. One of the strongest strategies going into 2025 is going to be door knocking pre-foreclosures. He's making an absolute mint, a fortune on it right now, and he's going to break down his process and the tools that he uses for that. So stick around for that. I got Joseph Delafave. He averages $100 down payment to buy houses creatively, which is absolutely incredible. He's going to be in studio. He's in Phoenix. He lives in Florida. He's going to be in here as well. And then we got Matt Camp with Deal Machine. Deal Machine has some incredible AI tools that they just released, literally just released last week, that are going to blow your face off when it comes to building customized lists. You can literally go in there and say, hey, AI, find me all of the houses that have 5 or more cars in the driveway or in the backyard. Find me all of the houses that look like they need complete renovations. It's bananas. Wait till you see this. It's going to be great. So make sure that you guys are sticking around and make sure that you guys are participating and putting in your questions in the chat here. All right. Participate with this. All right. Awesome. So guys, inventory is going to be absolutely critical that you're paying attention to in 2025. If it's over 2 months, then you gotta adjust. You got to stay at 70% minus repairs. Okay. You got to make those adjustments. And to make this full circle to what I was talking about before about flipping properties, you have to buy the absolute best deals. If you're going to take the risk, remember this. When it comes to your money, there's only 3 things that you can do with it. You can spend it, you can save it, or you could risk it. Right? That's it. Buy, save, risk. All right. And if you're going to risk it on a flip, make sure that you've got everything really buttoned up tight. Because if it's more than 2 months of inventory, that means it takes longer to sell properties, which means if you're raising funds and you're paying on that every single month, that's going to eat up your profits. It's going to eat up your cash flow too. Maybe you have a deferred payment to where all the payments get, you don't have to pay it on a monthly basis. You just pay it once it sells, which is great. It just kind of rolls over into the total amount that'll be paid off at the when it closes. But either way, it's going to eat up your profits. So make sure that you're being very, very, very conservative if the inventory is over 2 months. Okay. But I think it's going to start. I think the inventory is going to start getting absorbed. I think that people that are putting their homes on the market at ridiculous prices and they're not in perfect condition are going to go off the market because they're not going to sell. And then all of a sudden you're going to have really good, really well priced, really beautiful houses go on the market and they're going to sell fast. That's what I'm seeing in 2025. All right. But make sure that you're using this. Make sure that you're understanding what the inventory is. Upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. 2025, the word for 2025 is upgrade. Upgrade your systems, upgrade your education, upgrade your processes, upgrade the different exit strategies that you have. You have to upgrade all of it. That's the word for 2025, and it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be 2025 is going to be an absolute banger. By the way, do you know 80% of the people left wholesaling in the last 18 months? 80% left the wholesaling business in the last 18 months. Do you know why? Because they never upgraded. It's too easy. 18 months ago, 24 months ago, you get a deal, you sell it, it's no problem. This is real estate that we go through these cycles all the time. This cycle right now, it's going to be flat. It's going to be flat and go up a little bit, my opinion. I certainly don't have a crystal ball, but that's what I'm feeling after being in this for 20 years. I think if it's flat and if it's going up a little bit, it's a perfect time to understand how to do flips. It's a perfect time to upgrade your exit strategies. It's the perfect time. I don't think it's a great time to buy rentals unless you get just smoking, you cherry pick great deals. But I think it's a fantastic time to squeeze the most out of every single deal, because I don't think that there's going to be a big drop off that's going to really crunch you if you're risking your money to buy these properties for flips. All right. Awesome. Next, let's talk about right here. With every single lead, you have to understand it's either inbound leads or outbound leads, right? Inbound lead is going to be referrals. Inbound lead is going to be marketing. Outbound is going to be proactive. You're picking up the phone, calling, you're making offers on the market, you're bidding at the foreclosure auctions, you're door knocking, all those things, being really, really, really proactive. Okay. Sergio, I just answered that, bud. I just answered what inventory is. So to make more money, understand this: when inbound leads come in, it's 1 out of 20 leads, 1 out of 15 if you're really good. With outbound leads, it's going to be 1 out of 70 leads. So when you do a deal, you're not just replacing one lead, you're replacing 70 leads. When it's inbound, you're not replacing one lead, you're replacing 20 leads, 15 to 20 leads. So understand those metrics. Understand, what does it cost you per lead? What is it? When is the right time to switch from outbound to inbound leads? Because we usually start with outbound leads because we don't have a huge marketing budget, right? We don't have a huge marketing budget, so we need to be able to be proactive. We have to go out there. We got to take action. We got to initiate these conversations ourselves. And so we need to increase our conversion rate, which means we have to pre-qualify harder. We need to make more per deal, which means that we need more exit strategies. And in 2025, we have to find the 30 people. 30 people. Find 30 people that'll send you one deal per year. And it usually takes you a few years to be able to do that, but find the 30 people that'll send you one deal per year. Imagine that. The average deal size in a small market is 10K. That's 300,000 extra to your bottom line with zero marketing budget. Once you build the referral database of 30 people that'll send you one deal per year. Okay. So this is really what we're focusing on in 2025. This is how we make more in 2025. We need more leads. We need higher conversion. We need to make more. We need to squeeze out more per deal, and we need to build our referral database. And let's go back to the whiteboard, and then we'll bring on Tom Croll, who is ready to go. Oh, he's looking good too. It's one of my favorite shirts. He's looking great. All right.
Right here, guys. Lead follow-up. Lead follow-up. We all love going out there and we love getting the leads. Now it's time to convert these leads. And we have to make sure that we're spending our time with the most likely people to do business with us. And lead generation goes into 3 buckets: hot, warm, cold. All right? The hot leads, they're going to sell in 30 days or less. This is triage, right? Triage, you go to the hospital and somebody has their foot cut off and I have a common cold, they're going to treat the person that has their foot cut off before they treat me, right? This is how you have to think about your leads. Hot leads are leads that are going to sell to somebody in the next 30 days. Okay? Warm leads are people that it's going to be upwards to about 31 days to 90 days. All right? And cold leads go in the trash. If they're not going to make a decision for over 90 days, if they're kind of like, well, I don't know, I might want to sell after this event or after this, or maybe next year or this and this, throw them away. Throw them away. These are clogging up your system. Get rid of these leads immediately. All right? Don't even mess with them. If you stay here and stay here, your business is going to explode because we find what we're looking for. And if we're looking for hot and warm leads, that's what we're going to find. Okay? If we're like anybody that has a pulse that wants to sell their house, I'm going to keep them in follow-up forever, don't do it. It's a total waste of your time. Hot and warm. That's it. That's it. This is where we focus. This is our efforts in 2025. All right? Make sure that we're doing our lead follow-up, right?
And when we're going on there, this is the last point that I'm going to make, and I'm going to bring Tom on here. 2 words I want you to write down. And this is something that I learned from Tom's older stepbrother, Todd Toback. And it changed everything. When you are going on an appointment, when you're speaking to a property owner on the phone, I want you to have 2 words in front of you: certainty and likability. Certainty and likability. You are certain that you can solve their problems. And you aren't, and your tone of voice is somebody that instantly they like. Instantly they're like, you know what? I trust this person. I want to work with this person. This person sounds amazing. Right? You're very likable. You're not there trying to be this big authoritative figure. You're there to be likable. You're there to help them out. You're there to support them. You're there to use your tone of voice, ask really great questions, actually listen to the answers that they give you of the questions. Certainty and likability. Write it, keep it in front of you. And I'm telling you, that is the magic formula for closing more deals. I should be able to drop you anywhere in the world and you're making friends because you're certain in yourself. You're certain in your confidence. You understand who you are. You understand what you're trying to do. You're comfortable in your own skin and you're likable and you love people. That vibration, those vibes that you have, that's what gets you deals. All right? Certainty and likability. Awesome. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being on here. 72 people here active right now. Make sure that you're putting in your questions. We got 9 starred. We'll get to those questions right after we bring on the incredible Tom Croll. Tom!
Man, I love coming on early and getting to be backstage here watching you. It's incredible, and 2025 is going to be great. And when Brent Daniels says 30 people, I'll give you a little secret. After coaching 10,000 people, probably now at least, certainly over 5,000. When Brent Daniels says 30 people, right, for who are the people who can bring you deals? Let me give you a little secret. If you took the top 200 people I've ever coached, and you said, Tom, give me some commonalities with those 200 people. These are people who went on to become from window washers to become multimillionaires in this space, right? And so many other awesome stories. You want to know a commonality? When I would say do 5 jumping jacks, they would do 55 jumping jacks.
Yeah.
Right? If I said go paint the car red, they'd go out and run out and get the paint, and they would paint their car red. And then on the next module, I'd say make sure it's fire engine red, and they painted it maroon. Right. And then they'd go back out the next day with a smile and they painted fire engine red. And I think, if I'm sitting here watching you and I want to get to a net worth of over $1 million as fast as possible, number one, I'm going to do it like one of my beautiful 5 children just got bit by a poisonous snake. And I'm doing it with the kind of pit bull approach that I need to get that anti-venom. So I'm going to do it. There's no time. I don't care what time zone, day of the week. I'm going from the minute I wake up, the first thing I do, I'm jumping out of bed, to the last thing before I fall asleep, 110%. And if you say to me, do 30, I'm going to do 90. I'm going to make a list of 90. It's funny because I happen to have where one of our team members they're revising my journal for my tribe, right? So this is the, right. And on page 3, right, here's page 3. I blocked out here. This is it. 40 good people, right? So this is a template that's going to go into 40 good people. And what you do is every day, I had my person this morning, that particular person, I'm sending them the victory bell, right? 40 good people who could bring you deals or bring you business. These are people who are successful, wealthy. The secret with networking 101 is don't wait to call when you need a deal. Don't wait to call till you need something. You get, this is what Robert, this is what Cialdini talks about in Influence. It's called the whole chapter. All you have to do is read the chapter. This is a big fat book. You can read the chapter on reciprocity. And that's the 101 of networking is don't wait to call that agent or that broker or the HOA president or whoever has that in. Don't wait to call them when you need something. Make sure you know when their birthday is, when their kids' birthdays are. Send them your whatever you got to do to love on those people and bring them business and have a collaborative and abundance mindset. That's the key.
How do you do that, Tom, with people that are doing more than you?
Yeah, with a smile. And with realizing, right, that you don't have a little thimble and we're all scraping from a puddle, right? More for Brent doesn't mean less for me. More for Brent means more for me. The better Brent does, and Johnny and Bobby and Sally, the better they do, the better I do. 100% of the time. There's a new study that just came out about charity, right? And right now the math is, it looks like it's about $1 in, $1.60 out for people who are charitable, right? And the scientists don't understand it. The key is this. You have got to go out there with a smile and a good attitude and understand that you are strong, you're powerful, you're made in his image. You've got 2 5-gallon buckets in your right hand. You got 2 5-gallon buckets in your left hand, and we're all drawing from the ocean, and you could go back as many times in a day as you want to, and it's just going to keep it. The level's not going to dip. And as soon as you start to hoard and stash it away, all that stuff gets stagnant. So just have a good attitude, have a good smile. Go out there with an abundance mindset. And these people, these realtors, these agents, these brokers, whoever is on your list of people who bring a deal, don't ask them, how can I help you? Go on my 40 good people. I know how I can help them. If they have a podcast, I'm going to like it. I'm going to review it. I'll SEO my review, and I'll make sure I share it with my audience, right? If they have a birthday coming up, I'll send them a victory bell, or if they have a logo, I'll put their logo on something and send it to them. We have so many gifts going out the door all day. I have reciprocity. I could sell hairbrushes, and I'll have 40 people buy 10 hairbrushes or 100 hairbrushes tomorrow, right? It's easy. Life is easy. Business is easy. Don't complicate it.
Yeah, entrepreneurs are difficult. Well,
entrepreneurs are difficult. Well, meaning, yeah, entrepreneurs can be difficult, but they're pretty simple when you. I would say this when it comes to,
I mean, us ourselves, like the things that are holding us back. It's the actions that we can take every day and listening to your advice and going out there and really treating people in a different way, right? Doing those little things all the time, sending the birthday cards or sending a gift or, just responding quickly to text messages, these little things that really elevate us as professionals. But then we get into our head too much and we're like, well, how do I get business right now? I need to get business right now.
Right. Well, that's
that's what I mean, that entrepreneurs are difficult.
Progress, not perfection.
That's
right?
it, baby.
You got to do it with a good attitude every single day, consistently. Right. And you got to get out of your own head and you got to follow the ancient rules. All of the rules, all the good rules, they're all in the old books. Right. It's all from Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, and the new books that talk about the old books, like everything from Ryan Holiday and Morgan Housel from The Psychology of Money, The Richest Man in Babylon. These rules are the same in every single industry, in every single society. What are these people who have success and wealth, right? Because they're a little bit different. What are these people doing? They're all doing the same things. They read, right? Audible is great. Pick up a book and read it. You can still listen to Audible, pick up a book and read it. Trust me. Here, if you need a good book, right here, Psychology of Winning. Great book, old book. The ones with the yellowed pages, right? These are the good ones. But it's you got to be a good steward of your finances. You got to have an abundance mindset. And as soon as you start to, I'll tell you a little secret. When you take this advice and you start doing these things this way, you're going to get smacked immediately with something that's going to come up against you. That's going to
Mhm.
tell you got to go back to like being pointed in, right? You got to go back. Oh, I love it. You got to go back to doing things the old way, right? And this is the universe's way of testing you. You're going to have doubt, self-doubt, doubt somewhere else, doubt in the program, doubt in you're going to have disappointment. You're going to have distraction. You're going to be all ready to do this. And then something's going to pop up, and it's something. It could be a disaster. It could be a good thing, but it's going to be distracting you. That's where you have to persevere, and you have to recommit, and you have to have a strong constitution. You got to just say, I am going to do this, or I'm going to die trying. That's the key. That's the key. I love this chart. That's so true.
Yeah, I opened up the show, Tom, and this was something that was taught to me by a guy named Mike Ferry, and he's one of the top real estate coaches. He actually started coaching for real estate agents back in 1972.
Wow.
And he would always, every year he'd have a conference, and it was in January and in July. And it was the production retreat and the superstar retreat. Now, in both of those, he would open up with the same advice, not even advice, just letting everybody know that 75% of your income is going to be received in 6 months out of the 12 months out of the year. 75% of the income comes in 6 months.
Right.
And that always stuck with me. And I would hear it, but in my head, I was always like, well, whatever. I'm going to make it so it's consistent. I'm going to make it so that it happens all the time. I'm going to make it. But I'm telling you, every business, every entrepreneur I know, this is the same thing, whether it's a restaurant has seasonality, people that work in the housing trades, people that work in retail, all of this, 75% comes in 6 months.
Right.
What do you think of that?
I mean, I think it makes sense. I think, and the reason, right? I mean, I guess this is specific to agents, right? But I can see that in most businesses, that's definitely the case, right?
Well, even in wholesaling.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was certainly the case for myself, and we were doing some, pretty phenomenal numbers. I think, the question I think that's important on something like that is, what are you doing when the income is not coming in? And I think that's really where, right, you're going to find the answer. And even to what we're talking about now, about just going out there and getting started and having that grit, and obviously Angela Ducksworth does a better job than me in the book Grit about what grit actually accounts for, which is pretty much everything. But on those down months, on those off months, the question is, are you preparing or are you taking action? Because preparation is a form of procrastination.
Say it again, Tom.
Preparation is a form of procrastination. Absolutely. You got to go out there and get a bloody nose every day, and that's good. And then, and here's the thing. Once you do that long enough, everything in life is a season. Hustle is a season. It's not a lifestyle. You go through these seasons of life where you have to come up as an entrepreneur. It's tough, right? There's a lot of things against an entrepreneur where we're off the farm, right? We're in the jungle. We're not getting milked by the cow, by the farmer every day, right? We're out there, we're getting brush in our eyes, but you got to have that damn the torpedoes, thick skin, and keep charging forward, just like Scott Alexander teaches us in Rhinoceros Success. And in those seasons where the income is low, you have to put revenue in first position. You got to do the things. Don't you dare. If I find anybody watching this, these 75 people or however many, if I know anybody is building a logo, trying to find a domain name, we did a study, the Inc. 500. We did a study of the Inc. 500, fastest 500 growing companies in the country, which you and I were on, which is awesome. And here's what I would say. We looked at the names of those companies. And what we found was that 79% of the names of those companies were categorically in one of two categories. They were either in a category we described as totally obscure, right? Meaning the name was like jtpd.com, right? No idea. It was an acronym. Nobody knew what it meant. Or it was listed as vague, meaning you might be able to make some kind of correlation, but not really. So all these people spending this time on, I'm trying to find a .com that matches the name, and then creating a logo, and then God forbid getting like a brand person to come in to like pick a color. Here's my color. It's orange, and I painted my wall. Go to Home Depot, right? It's very simple. Right. So yeah, there you go. Orange is the color. So
This is Tom's book. Yeah.
there you go. The greatest business. But I think that what I would say is, in those down months, don't be preparing to generate revenue. The money is in the database. The money is in your network, right? Go out there, build your net worth. If Brent says 30, make it 90. Do 3 people a day every 30 days. For every single month, every 30 days, you just keep rotating that list. 3 people a day. Show them some love. Respond to their text messages. Pick up your phone. I mean, that's a revenue in first position. Everybody knows what produces revenue. The challenge is they're working on the things that are comfortable instead of the things that are uncomfortable, right? Or they're, God forbid, going out and getting a partner. No partners, no partners, no partners. You don't need a partner. After you get the 5 million, go get a partner. Right now, go off and do this. Go get a deal, and then you're next, and you're next. And when you have a deal and you have that, somebody finally says, oh yeah, I would like to sell. If I could sell right away I don't mind if it's a discount. Don't call your mom or your brother or your sister or your aunt or your uncle or any your friend, or just go right to the next deal. Put the deal in the car, go right to the next. Don't waste time talking about opportunities and celebrating opportunities or potential. Go right on to the next deal. Sometimes that first deal, you spend so much time talking about it, you're not getting the second deal. The first deal falls through, and now you've got nothing. And that's what kills a lot of new real estate investors. So just zip it. Head down, hustle as a season, get back to work like do this or die trying. That's kind of the attitude that you want to have. And I don't think I've ever had a student who's passed away ever. And I've had thousands and thousands and thousands of students. So there you go. So you're safe.
Yeah, I love it, Tom. I mean, I think if people understand that 25% of your income is going to come in those other 6 months, then you can plan for it. You can expect it. And if you can expect it, then you're not going to be making these big investments into your company when you get these big checks. And then all of a sudden your account's drained. And then all of a sudden the stress, you start feeling the pressure, right? You start feeling like, oh my gosh, I need to make something happen. And then desperation comes in. And when desperation comes in, you start getting the assignment fee breath, or the, you're going on these appointments with a different type of energy. It's not a confidence. It's, you're on your back foot, and you're really pressuring the other people, and they can feel it. And you actually end up doing less business because of that. Right.
It's all about attracting, not chasing.
What's that?
It's all about attracting, not chasing. I totally agree. The desperate people chase, and everybody backs away. And the right people, the people making the most, they're constantly attracting. So I couldn't agree more. Go out to dinner, watch a confident guy on a date, and just watch what he does. He sits back, he asks a question, and then the other person talks for 20 minutes, and then he asks a question. The person who's not confident, right, what does he do? The girl leans back at the dinner table. The guy leans in, and he's trying to convince and talk. No. Right? Oren Claff 101. Flip the script. Always have one foot out the door. Be confident. Know who you are. Attract. Don't chase. Only the desperate chase.
I love it. Tom, if you were to give advice to everybody that's that's watching live, that's going to watch the replay, that's going to listen to this on the podcast, and under the umbrella of upgrading themselves and their business in 2025, what's one thing that you would suggest that they do?
This is the most important thing. First of all, OAC, owner's actual compensation. I want to know every single week how much money moved from the business to your pocket. You are not in business to make mountains of money in the business and then be broke and call me at 65. I've had 7 phone calls I've had 7 phone calls in November. We're in December now. Tom, I don't know what to do. I make all this money. I've got nothing to show for it. I'm totally broke. I don't know how this happened. So the number one thing, if you are an entrepreneur, to do today, and I don't care how scary it is, I don't care how uncomfortable it is, and if you're married or in a significant partnership or relationship, or you have a fiance or spouse or whatever it is, you do this with them, is you measure your net worth every single week until it's over 0. Once it's over 0, you could go to once a month. Every single week. Poor people, what do they focus on? Cash flow. I can afford this because I can afford the monthly payment. That's how they keep you broke. What you want to do is move into wealth and success. You make a buying decision it's based on cash flow and net worth, right? So you want to buy something, you got to say, how much is this thing going to lower my net worth? Remember the key asset. The money goes from the thing to your pocket. Liability, the money goes from your pocket to the thing. So just be super careful about your net worth, because if I want to put you out of business, the only thing, I don't ever have to meet you. All I've got to do is take 1% of your net worth every month and lower it. And eventually you're going back on monster.com to apply for a job. So measure your net worth, start it. Don't wait till January 1st. Do it today. Do it with your spouse, no matter how bad it is or ugly it is. Don't ignore it. It's one of the number one ways that you're going to go out of business or have an awesome adventure in 2025.
Guys, if you are a teacher, if you are a coach, you need to have Tom Croll in your life. Go to coachinginc.com. Tom, do you have a podcast?
Coaching Inc. is re-released January 1st.
January 1st, Coaching
Inc.
podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am so pumped. I'm going to subscribe to that immediately. Guys, if you have that desire, and I don't care if you're just starting out, but if you really have that burning desire to be a teacher, to be a coach, you need Tom Croll's guidance to make sure that you do it right. And so that you can sleep at night knowing that you've done the absolute best for your students possible. So go to coachinginc.com and set up a call with Tom and his team and get that going. He is the absolute best. I love you, Tom.
Love you, brother. Good seeing you. Enjoy the day. God bless.
See ya. That is awesome. All right, let's get to your questions here a little bit. Footy Boy asks, how much is your PPL service? I don't have a PPL service. PPL stands for pay per lead. I have a exclusive pay-per-click agency. So it's a different strategy. We actually run your Google accounts. If you're in a smaller market, you need at least $5,000 a month in spend for that. If you're in a smaller market, it's like 500,000 and below. If you're in a bigger market, it's 7,500 or more in spend. But we're the absolute best of the best of the best. You can go to talktopeople.com, check that out. And on a monthly basis, we charge $2,500 to put our Google experts basically in your business as part of your team, and they make sure that you get the absolute best high intent leads possible. So if you're experienced, if you got your processes in place, if you've got a good, healthy marketing budget, we are the perfect fit for you. Go to talktopeople.com and check that out. Daniel says, hi, Illinois here. Do you think the new administration will offer incentives to build affordable homes with smaller square footage? I'm probably not the best person to ask this, because I don't really develop. I don't do a tremendous amount of raising capital and putting that to work for developments, for affordable housing, for converting, maybe office space to apartments or something like that. But I think Chicago's going to need something. I think these major markets are going to need something. I always wondered, and this has been a real eye-opening thing that I realized is, these major cities don't run without hourly workers, right? You need people that are in the sewers. You need people that are on the utility lines. You need people that are digging holes and filling in holes and working on the roads and cleaning buildings and keeping maintenance going on these huge buildings. And a city is a big living, breathing thing that needs to be nurtured. And typically it's nurtured by laborers. Well, laborers need to live close to where the city is. If everything is too expensive for the laborers to live there, the city falls apart. So it's in the city's best interest to provide a tremendous amount of affordable housing. And this, I really got educated by my cousin Sherry, who runs it here in Phoenix, and does a great job. She was working for the government, and now I think she's working for maybe like a lobbyist group or something. She's phenomenal. I'll have to figure that out. But it was a really big education for me. And that's why you see the major markets are mostly liberal, right? Mostly like, hey, we need to give a lot of resources. We need the government to help these cities survive. We need some subsidies. We need some help with affordability in these areas, because if not, the cities just disappear. Somebody needs to take care of it. And so, in the major cities, they're gonna have to address affordable housing. Now, how does that affect us? I don't know. I mean, maybe you get into that. Maybe that's your passion. Maybe that's where you want to funnel your efforts. But it's definitely something that needs to happen for sure. Great question. Motivational mindset. My second and third deals are closing on Friday and Monday for a total of 12,500. Come on. Awesome work. That is absolutely awesome. Congratulations, motivational mindset. It's obviously working. Keep that momentum and keep that money. All right. James, what if you don't practice wholesaling in the state you live? Where do you get licensed? If you have, like, if I have a license in Arizona and I refer to my friend Efren in Chicago, we'll just stay in Chicago because Efren's there, incredible wholesaler and real estate entrepreneur out there. He can legally pay me a referral fee. I just have to have a license. I think it's just an upgrade. And I think that more states are going to require a real estate license because they see what we do as marketing deals. And now we have equitable interest. That's what's keeping us clean with being able to, take a contract and assign that contract and market that contract or market that property, depending on your state, for, to find an investor that wants to replace us in those purchase agreements. I just think it's a smart idea to get a license for the future and for the ability to get referrals, the ability to have access to the MLS, the ability to have conversations with real estate agents and they don't already have their force field up, their wall up, saying, or they're stiff arming us. They're keeping us at arm's length because they're like, oh, these are investors. They're not. I don't know what's going on with them, but I know that they don't close deals. I know that they're going to waste my time. I know that they're going to get me running around because I work for free and I don't get paid unless I find them a deal or bring them a deal. And when I do bring them a deal, they don't close, or they're trying to do this weird creative thing that I don't understand. And so it's a total waste of my time. Happened all the time. I would have people, I could sniff it out as an agent in a second. And the first few got me. First few, you're like, oh my gosh, I got a big whale here. This person's going to buy hundreds of deals. They didn't have any money. They're just posturing. They just went to a local traveling seminar and were taught reach out to real estate agents, have them put in offers on properties that have been on the market over 90 days and have them submit offers at 50% of the list price and see, what happens. Have them work for you for free while you work your job, and then you can get free deals. That was what was taught back in the day. It's still taught now. And real estate agents hate that. So having a real estate license is powerful. It gets you around that. At least you have the credibility that you went to real estate school and went through it. Christopher, great to hear from you. Brent, I'm in Pennsylvania with a new contract laws in January and really think it's worth getting a license and continue wholesaling in Pennsylvania. Yes. Chris, put in what are the new changes? You got boots on the ground there. Let us know what's going on in Pennsylvania. Do you have to have a real estate license to wholesale? Is that what it is? Guys, it's going to happen. It's happening. I love it because it's going to keep all the people that are just dabbling in this thing away from it. And so it's just going to be more deals for us that play by the rules or are really passionate about this. This isn't hey, I Googled get rich fast or make money fast, and wholesaling real estate came up. And now I went down the TikTok rabbit hole and there's these, things that I can do to go find deals. Those people are going to be gone. They're usually gone pretty fast, but the people that take it seriously, the people that watch this channel, the people that are subscribed to this channel and that like this, are the ones that are going to win massively. We're going to take the whole pie. There's plenty for everybody. But if they require a license, get a license. It's going to knock out a ton of people. So I think it's awesome. Yes, seller has 30 days to back out of a contract and you have to be licensed after January. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Good to know. I think that's great. Brandon, my fault. I'm late, coach. Had an attorney tear our contract apart on vacant lots for his clients. All good now. We should be signing those 2 today. TTP. Brandon, at some point, you got to come to Phoenix, bro. You have been in my life for so long. We need to meet. Let us know. You got to get in here. Love to meet you. Love to have you in around the team, introduce you, have you in the office here, have you on the show. It'd be awesome. Let's make that happen in 2025. All right. That'd be awesome. Phil, by the way, just going back to what he was saying there, the attorneys get paid to pick apart contracts. Attorneys get paid to put their opinions on things, and that's fine. And listen to them. Listen. A good real estate attorney in your local market trumps everybody else. Stay protected, take their advice, play by the rules, and win. Phil W. How do you calculate buy and hold deals that are tenant occupied? That is a great question, Phil. And were you humming over there? Joe, come on in. Guys, Joe Delafave is here. He is a master. He is the creative finance playbook. Welcome.
How we doing?
Looking good.
Good to
Oh
see
my
you.
goodness, man.
Thanks
Look
for
at
having me.
this. Talk about an upgrade. We got an upgrade in our look here. So how do you calculate buy and hold deals with that are tenant occupied?
So that's really
Scoot over here.
Oh,
Let's
perfect.
get right in the middle here. See it?
perfect. There we are.
There we are.
So that's
Here.
really a touchy subject, depending a lot on the state.
Yeah.
That's what I found. In some of the states where it could be a lot more challenging. I started this in upstate New York. Tenant laws are difficult. So far as that goes, how is the relationship going with the tenant? Is the tenant paying on time? Are they everything good, or are they disgruntled? Right.
Mhm.
We did a deal in Massachusetts, right outside Boston, and we inherited it with a tenant who wasn't paying. And the laws in Massachusetts were severely favored in the tenants rule. So I'm mindful of that. That's the big thing. So depending on
How
the
tall
state,
are you? Look how tall he is, guys.
I know I'm 6'2".
That's it. Jeez. Let's go back
Everybody's-
to back real quick.
Everybody sees me like, wow, you're way taller in person.
Yeah. Jeez.
Maybe I just sit down well or something. I
I'm
don't know.
5'9". I don't know. Yeah.
But that's really the case. So the state depends on that. Do they have a lease in place, or is it expired? What's going on? If I could have communication with the tenant, because the tenant will also, they live in the property. So
Right.
they're going to say, hey, this roof is leaking here. Or so they'll tell you a lot of things too. So I'm not opposed to it, but it's got to make sense.
Yeah.
So
Got it. Okay, good. Well, there you go, Phil. So, when we're looking at it from a wholesaling side, Phil, most of the time, the properties that we're working with where they want speed and convenience are destroyed. The landlord does the classic handshake deal with the tenant. Hey, don't call me when things break and I won't increase the rent every year. Right? Which is a huge mistake.
Yep.
But that's what amateur landlords do. And that's why we work with a lot of tired landlords and buy their deals. And usually if it's tenant occupied, it's going to be under market value. The property needs significant rehab. So we just take it as a regular, this is going to need a fix and flip. We run the same numbers. It's the same numbers as here, right? If your market is more than 2 months of inventory, it's at 70% minus repairs. And we're just unless it's a long-term tenant, but it depends on your market. It depends if you're in a cash flow market or if you're in an appreciation market. If you're in a cash flow market and they want to keep the tenants in there and it's got good cash flow and they just want to get rid of the property, which is pretty rare, then you can play around. You could probably be closer to 90% minus repairs. But for the most part, the tenants are month to month. They're going to get out of the property and you're going to just treat it like any other deal.
yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Raphael, come on in. You might as well come back, Luke. Raphael Cortez is here. Look at this. It's a dream team. Here we go. Come on over. Your mic's there. Love you, bud. Doesn't he look how tall he is? We have to adjust the whole
I
thing.
did this on purpose. I knew I was coming.
That's it. So Raph,
Yeah.
your mic's there. We'll zoom out. There we go. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So there you go, Phil. Now, let's see. Paris asks, are tax delinquents one of the simpler method for beginners? What do you think, Raf? Are tax delinquents one of the simpler methods for beginners? Can you put up, hey, Luke? First of all, we're off here. This is way crazy. I don't know what you're doing back there. We got Matt had a baby, so we're Luke's filling in here. But
One job, Luke.
why don't you do this and I'll figure out this.
No, so I mean about tax delinquents. I mean, I think it's a hot lead source. I mean, just like everything, some of the other ones like foreclosures and and things like that. But I mean, there's going to be a lot of people hitting those. So yeah, it's going to be evident distress, but it's not going to save you from having to dig into the conversation, right? Like it's not the fact that they're tax delinquent; it's the why behind it. Right. Like, why are they tax delinquent? Is it did they lose their job? Have they not been able to be employed in the last 6 months, or were they employed to something that's under what they used to make? Now their cost of living is higher than what they make, right? So there's a lot of things that play into it, but yeah, at the end of the day, like you're gonna have to master the conversation itself, regardless of the type of lead that you tap into. But yeah, we go after tax delinquent leads all the time. I mean, we even door knock those. So
talk to me about door knocking, by the way.
I'm telling you, man, people don't do it enough. Don't do it because if you don't do it, I'll get all the deals. But yeah, it's you can create. I mean, you can create your avatars, right? Of course, we go after the pre-foreclosure, type of lead, type of seller. But we do the same thing, man, that we've been doing for years, which is stacking, right? Stacking pain points. So sometimes you're going to have a pre-foreclosure and then you're going to have a tax delinquent in the same, type of lead. The fastest way to have a conversation with those people, because they're getting hammered probably by everybody else, is going to be to show up and hit the door and just, spark it up from there.
Well, pre-foreclosures, don't you have a tool for it?
Yeah. Goalmapdriven.com or mapdriven.com. So I'm
going to pull it up as you're talking about it.
Go ahead. We're in a handful of so we developed that, but it's mapdriven.com. So we developed software for it because we do it so much here at a local level, right? And we started with Maricopa County and started getting all the data, just making sure that we're getting there faster than everybody else. So straight to county records. So as basically the way it works is as soon as it gets posted, within 2 or 3 minutes, our guys on the road actually have the info, as opposed to waiting 9 days, 12 days for a platform to update the data. So we have that whole thing rolled into it, and it helps a lot, right? So it's a very handy thing to have if you're hitting pre-foreclosures on a regular basis. It definitely just increases the shots at opportunity, because when you're first on the door, you're top of mind.
Well, that's the point. You're first one talking to these people,
right? Yeah, exactly. So
I don't know what's going on with this. Does it not have the pricing on here? This is crazy.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on there. So you're looking at it's just just the website for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want info, shoot me a message. We'll send you info on that.
How do they send you a message?
You can hit me up on social media or at Rafael Cortez CEO, or shoot me an email, rc@thepulsegroup.net.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How are you upgrading in 2025? Upgrade's my word of the year.
Ooh.
Upgrade.
I like the delivery of that too. It was very, very soothing.
Yeah.
Right.
The tone behind it. How are you upgrading in 2025?
I'm working on it.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm working on it.
Nice.
Well, I think for what we're doing in our business is really just, as everybody's kind of unsure what happens in the market, I think one of the things is we're just sticking to the basics of what works. Get leads, find motivated sellers, figure out solutions that you're going to be able to help them. And I think, those are really broad basics, but what is it? It's more lead generation. I think as more people in some of these places could get worried about what's the market doing, and you might have people exiting the business, I think now is the great time. So for 2025, I think it's an amazing opportunity for obviously wholesale deals. Same thing for us for creative deals. I'm having more sellers now reach out and say, I'm in a jam. I've relocated.
Yeah.
My price dropped in my house a little bit and I owe too much, or I don't have any equity and I need to sell. So I think just figuring out these opportunities to get in front of them, find the deals that cash flow, that make sense, make the deals. That's probably my favorite.
Are you guys looking for equity on these? Are you looking for what's your threshold, I guess, criteria for selecting or knowing whether or not a creative financing deal is a deal?
So for me, it's the first is the cost of entry. How much money am I coming up to buy the deal, right? And second is like, what's my cash flow?
Are you talking about arrears and stuff like that? Or?
Sometimes that is a thing. Sometimes I have a seller who isn't behind on payments and they've already moved. Like we just closed on a deal. It's a 2-year-old house. They've moved. They don't want to make 2 payments. The wife's just packing up the house. He's like, give me 12 grand down. You can take over my payments.
Yeah.
He's got a 4% rate on a 2-year-old house. So for 12,000 and 9,000 in closing costs, I have a deal that actually cash flows in Florida and doesn't need anything. The house is like crystal clean. So we cash flow about 500 and some change on that door. And
How much you cash flowing right now?
on average, it's close to 600 a door.
So no, a month.
Oh, we're up to 16,000 and I think 700 something
And that's just coming in.
every month.
How much of that do you save for maintenance?
Well, we do a lease option.
Yeah.
So our renters are responsible for all that. Don't get me wrong. We still have to keep a kitty for that rainy day where like we had one, it was a few weeks before Christmas, 2 years ago, hot water tank goes. Like if we have to buy a new hot water tank, that there goes Christmas fund. So we just put it in to Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
So we always keep usually that 10, 20%, but also our renters give us big non-refundable option deposits, $20,000, $30,000, sometimes more to move in. So we also get a big chunk once they move in and we set a portion of that aside too.
Can we unpack that a little bit? Do we have time for that? Okay.
Got all the time.
So you're locking these up as seller financing on your side, right? On the A to B side.
Yep.
And then on the B to C side, basically you're doing a lease option to a tenant that's going to buy it down the road, right?
Yeah.
So just kind of to simplify it. Now, how long do you go for? Do you go 3-year lease option, 5-year lease option?
So I'm kind of weird. Like we'll do the first part, we'll do it for 2 years, but I let them know if you don't buy it out in 2 years, no worries. Like we're not going to throw you out of your house. Like pay rent on time.
Because you can keep cash flowing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So at that point, after 2 years is up, we do revisit the price. We do revisit the rent. We make sure they still get a deal, but we'll move it closer to like market value. I learned that the hard way on some of the very first ones where, my gosh, they went up a lot. So, so we revisit that. And then after it's year to year at that point. So I've got some of our renters who've been in there. The first one's 2 years. And then after that, we go year by year is what we do.
Okay.
Don't do in the beginning, don't lock the deal up for 5 years. Because what you're doing is you're locking in their rent rate and the price of the house for 5 years. And so do you think rent will go up in 5 years? Probably.
Yeah.
So if they're locked into some really low rent, I'm telling you, learn from my mistakes. I did that on one deal though.
What's your average down payment for the lease option?
Depends on the property house. We usually get about 10% down.
So
$250,000 house, you're gonna get about 25 grand down.
So 25 average?
Yeah.
Are you on my lapel, by the way? All right, good. 25K average. How many have you done?
I mean, geez, we've close to 100.
100 of these?
Yeah.
So you've had, what is that, 2.5 million in deposits?
A lot of deposits. Yeah, absolutely.
And this deposit goes towards the purchase price.
Yeah.
Can you live off of this? Is this just put in?
So my accountant taxed it on as active income because they say it's non-refundable. So absolutely.
Right.
You could buy more deals with it. You could put it in advertising, marketing, whatever you want to do.
So this is like an assignment fee that like we get.
Yeah.
But you're keeping these properties, you're putting them into a lease option, and then they've got 2 years to buy it, and then you'll extend it.
Yeah.
Do they have to pay to extend it?
No, we don't charge any extra fees. However, the price of the house might change.
Right.
The rent might go up a little bit.
Right.
And we generally try to keep it. I'll give you the tip that really makes a difference. They're not as worried about the price as they are about the monthly rent. So if you keep the monthly rent affordable to them, they don't have really much incentive to go cash you out.
Right.
They're just going to stay there, and it's almost like set it and forget it. The toilet leaks, they just go get a plumber and they go replace the toilet or fix it. That's what happens in these situations. So I don't bother them. If you want somebody to cash you out, that rent goes up a lot. Now they've got incentive to buy it.
Yep.
So I generally keep the price of the rent affordable. But when that price does change in the house, because obviously in the last few years we've had some major appreciation, and you don't have to. You don't have to change the price unless you don't. It's your business.
Yeah.
But that's what we generally do.
I like that.
Awesome.
And then when they do buy,
and what is it when you're buying this house from the seller? How much are you putting down to buy it?
So my favorite is $100 plus closing costs.
$100.
Yeah. Now there's like we just mentioned the last one we just did it in Florida. We put down 12,000, but it was like crystal clean, great deal. We have the rest of the term, which is like 28 years left in the mortgage.
Yep.
So there was a lot of value built into the deal where I could do 12,000 and not be an issue, because I know with my renter, it's a 375 price house. I'm going to get probably 30 to 40 grand down for my renter once they move in. And I'll be picky. Like, I'll wait 3 months to find the right renter who doesn't want to just rent. They want to actually be able to buy the house eventually down the road.
Right.
And, some don't for some reasons, or others, other job transfers or, whatever. But we still have a fair amount to do every year. So that's been our favorite strategy.
And you're finding these deals from real estate agents?
So we get
from referrals, from marketing, from
when we're buying them, or from
how do you find these deals
so
to buy?
Yeah, so the deals we buy, we just market the heck out of ourselves on social media. So I'm friends with every agent that I can possibly imagine. And if you're an agent, we're not friends yet, we need to be. Wholesalers bring us a lot of deals. We do marketing. We run sponsored ads right on Facebook. So when you see an ad, like sponsored ad, like that's us. And we do that in some of our favorite places: Florida, upstate New York, PA, Carolinas.
Upstate New York. That's interesting. Yeah.
Well, I was talking to Steve Trang about this yesterday, and it gets slept on a lot. We did an area of Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And in the metro area of Phoenix, there was, I think it was like 7,000 single family homes for sale. I do the same thing in Tampa, where I'm living now, and it's like 8,000. I do the same thing over my old city, Rochester, New York, and there's like 317 homes available for sale. They're single family homes. So there's not a lot of inventory. So the values stay pretty decent. So it just opens up opportunities, and they cash flow. A lot of landlords don't love New York, but if a renter gives me 20,000 to move in, 30,000, they usually behave better.
What's a different? It's not a renter. It's a lease option.
Different client altogether. So that's why I love doing deals in upstate New York.
It's pretty interesting because you have that pride of ownership right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what, if they know that they're going to keep that property down the road, or they have a shot at it, that hope is there. I think people take care of their stuff better.
Well, and they paint the kids' room. They do landscaping. They invite us over for like the celebration when they move in. And it's really neat to be able to have that happen. And you're actually helping humans like on another level, because you're helping them eventually own a home. And most of the time, because we have a great screening process, that they're great people that just had something tough happen, a divorce, a death in the family, like that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
And they're able to move into a home and make it home until they're able to buy it later on.
Right.
So, and we make sure it's a good fit financially for them. They can afford the house. And so we make sure before they move in, and if all looks good, they sign the paperwork and welcome home.
Nice.
And you're really pushing for them to buy it.
Yeah. We do set it and forget it. So like, if you don't buy it in 2 years, I tell them, don't freak out. Like, we're not going to kick you out, but we want them to eventually buy it.
But doesn't that pulls you away from long-term wealth building?
So we hear this, like, Joe, you're going to lose a door.
You're going to lose a door.
Well, yes.
Well, and can we go to the board real quick? Because this is what I'm saying. Okay. So you've got this house, you bought it. They give you 25,000 here. You're getting on average.
Step back a little bit.
Just come this way.
Oh, okay.
This way.
Keep going. Keep going.
We're on the
There
screen
we go.
Okay.
You're getting $600 a month for how many months? Let's call it 60, 24 months.
Yeah, but
Ish.
it's more than that. But yeah, ideally that. But
So let's call that another $13,000 plus the 25. So each deal you get $38K, right?
Yep.
And then whatever the difference is that when they from what you bought it at and what you sell it at.
which is usually close to six figures. If not, a lot of them are over six figures, that back end check.
So this is like a slow flip.
Oh yeah. And I don't have to pay a commission to an agent to sell the house.
Right.
We own it for more than a year.
So what's your average that you make on these deals?
It's six figures every one.
6 figures
Every time.
every time.
Yeah.
Over 100 times.
Yeah. Well, we still have a lot of them cooking right now.
What are we doing?
So
You're cooking right now.
Oh,
I'll
a
tell
lot
you
of them.
that.
So, and I think here's the neat thing about it. Besides that, when you do get that final back end check, you do lose a door.
Yep.
But the benefit is if you get that $110,000 check, how I bought the house, right? That $100 down or $10,000 down, I could take that money, put it into a 1031 exchange, and
Yep.
I could turn that one door I missed out into 3 more new ones, 4 more new ones, because I have money that I have to spend.
Right.
So when I have a seller that says, Joe, I need 20 grand down to help us move, I'm like, here, like, let's go do that. So if I do lose a door, I could pick up a few more, keep growing, keep expanding. And this is what I love, because we don't have partners. I don't have people that we borrowed money from.
Well, you do.
Well,
You're just married to her.
Well, yeah, of course. Shout out.
Shout out to Jen.
But that's really the point of it is we don't have to really borrow money because when we do buy a deal, I'm getting that money back from my renters. And sometimes we don't get quite all of it back. You know, if somebody gives me, I've got to buy a deal, maybe I do light rehab and we get less, but most of the time we got paid to buy that house.
Will you come back over here? Because the whole, I think, you know, us being the same height and you being a giant here in the middle is
Helps.
awesome. Yeah.
It
Even though
balances
this is
thing out.
all off, this line is screwing with me. This whole thing. We got to
Symmetric.
figure this out, Luke. Luke's doing his best. He's anyway.
Good luck, Luke.
Well, I think people can hear us and see us. So,
Yep.
guys, if you're getting value out of what Joe's saying here, make sure that you put some love in the comments here. Put I don't know, put a rhino, put a what's your kind of emoji?
I don't know.
A house?
Could be a whole village of houses.
A village. Put a village if you can find that emoji in the chat here. Absolutely incredible. And you teach us.
Yeah.
Creative Finance Playbook.
Yep.
Creative Finance Playbook, and have a podcast.
We do. Creative Finance Playbook.
That's
Pretty
it.
original, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's easy to remember.
Yep.
But you've always been in real estate, right? Your
Well-
family's from real estate. You grew up in real estate. It's always been your passion, real estate, right?
Well, it's a cool day today. 24 years ago today is when I closed my first wholesale deal.
Really?
My anniversary today, December 4th.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
so I guess one thing that was like big eye opening was it took me 7 years to do my second deal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was no social media back then. There wasn't a community like this where I could tune in every single day or weekly and podcasts and all that. So, you know, when you're trying to do this all on your own, it could be tough and you have to stay consistent and motivated. And so that's why now it's been easier than ever because of like you guys, obviously sharing everybody. sharing
yourself.
this. But it's also been harder. There's more distractions. So you got to really stay focused on what, you know, brought us into this and the desire. And over time, it just happens. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Awesome. So, but I was kind of alluding to the fact that you were in car sales for a while
Yeah.
and you were looking for a way out.
Yeah. Because being in the car dealership world, you're working 12, 13, 14-hour days. And we'd have sales in June where it's, you know, upstate New York, you only get 3 good months. And the whole month of June, you're working, you know, 26 days.
Yeah.
So when you're doing that, I've got kids, I got a wife, and I'm not watching my kids grow up. I'm not being a part of it. I can't go to anything. So that was my burning desire. And I had that why of exactly what I want to do. And when I first met my wife, I'm like, here's the girl I want to marry. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. But yeah, I'm working 1 million hours, right? And she used to be a teacher. So it got even more complicated because we'd only see each other really on Sunday. Because I had to work Saturdays, sometimes even Sundays. So that really became the why for us. So the money was good. I met a lot of great people and friends, but my gosh, it was a fantasy to get to do this full time. And what pushed us into this was we knew how to wholesale. We've done some fix and flips. We were buying creative. So I didn't need a W-2 to buy cash flowing rentals anymore. So when COVID happened and the dealerships all closed in upstate New York, they're like, go home, you're free to go. And my wife's like, you're not going back. Like, we're doing this now. We're going to go full time now. And we just did and went full speed ahead. And that dedication and a lot of tough times, but a lot of great times, a lot of like you just being consistent. I think that was the key.
How long did that transition take between when you were, you know, when you got into it and then you were working, you know, your job and then still doing this and then you actually, you know, stepped out and did it full time?
Yeah. So, and it was interesting too, because shout out my bosses watching, but like 2 weeks before COVID happened, he just gave me a big raise and was like, you're going to be like the finance director of the big group. And he's like, so you're not going to leave if I give you this raise to go start like a marshmallow factory, are you? And I was like, marshmallows, the heck with marshmallows. Like, no way. Like, I want to do this, which was like, you know, I was excited for the opportunity, but so when COVID happened 2 weeks later, my wife is like, yeah, there's no way you're going back. And I still thought in my head, oh, they're going to flatten the curve. They told us it was like a 2 week thing.
Sure.
And it'd be over.
Yeah.
So that first probably 3 or 4 weeks, I was in a shock. And then by the end of like March 2020, and is when it kind of really sunk in, this is a reality and we're going to do this. So I was using some new audio equipment and I recorded myself saying like, I guess we're going to do this full time. Like, let's go. And then since then we went from doing a deal every year or two. I was working a lot. So we were still doing deals, but not that much. And then we went to doing a couple deals a month.
Awesome.
Mm.
And then that's when like the light bulb really came on. And then we could do this virtually.
Yep.
I don't even have to like be there. So then we started traveling, and that's what made us move to Florida.
Yeah.
And
Well, let's
Very
answer
nice.
some questions.
yeah,
First, Dimitri is listening to this in his background and making 12 offers so far today.
Damn.
I love it.
Let's go.
Brent, how do I find hot markets to virtual wholesale in, and how do I choose zip codes in that city?
For markets, I look at population over 300,000 people. That's going to give me enough ammo, I guess, to go after lists. And then one thing, this is something that I just learned actually, but one thing is to look at what's listed. So look at the correlation between what's under contract, and what's listed, right? So if you have, let's say that you have 100 properties that are available for sale, right? 25% of those have to be under contract.
Yep.
If it's a number less than that, the demand is not as solid as the supply.
Yep.
Right. So
Yep.
that's one thing that
We
we're
talked
looking
about
at
that
now,
earlier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, did you? Nice. So yeah, those are two big things. And I look at days on market, 60 days on market, 75 days on market. So there's a couple of key metrics, but start with the population, because that's going to give you a segue into the rest of the data, the rest of the info. And then the research is easy. Go to Redfin, go to Zillow, go to, all those places have stats.
Yeah, Patrick, where do you want to own real estate? That should probably be one of the determining factors as to where you focus your energy. And I will tell you this, if you're doing virtual and you are doing inbound leads, direct mail, pay-per-click, pay-per-lead, all those things, be in a market that's under 300,000 price point, median sale price under 300,000. Because if you are going and trying to do virtual wholesaling from PPL, PPC, direct mail, bandit signs, anything where people are calling you, you're going to get beat like a drum. You're wasting your money. You will absolutely go bankrupt. I'm telling you right now, if you're trying to do virtual wholesaling in the major markets that the price points are over 300,000 and there's high intent on those leads, and they're going to be reaching out to 2 or 3 other investors, they are going to beat you out. You're done. If you're going to do virtually, stay in those markets where it's under, and it depends. If you're making calls, if you're being proactive, if you're reaching out to agents, if you're making offers on the MLS, go bananas, any market you want. Whatever, it's all wide open for you. But if you are paying money for marketing and you're not in those areas to go to those appointments, you are wasting your money. Seriously.
Yeah.
This is a huge lesson that I've learned. This is a huge lesson that a lot of my students have learned. This is a really, really, really critical message and lesson. So if that's the case, Patrick, make sure it depends on your marketing strategy. But if you're going to be more proactive, it's wide open. The map's wide open. If you're going to spend money to have people call you, then you need to be boots on the ground in major markets. If not, stick to the markets that are under 300,000, because they're just giving away. Because in people's minds, like over 300,000, this is their fortune.
Yeah.
This is most people's fortune.
Yeah.
They want to feel good about this decision. They're not going to take it lightly, and they're going to get multiple offers if they're the type that's going to call on a mailer or fill out information on a website. Yeah. It's the absolute fact. And so they want to make sure that they feel 100% about it, 100% confident. It's very difficult to do that just on the phone. I don't care what people are saying. Test it and tell me I'm wrong. Find me one person that spends a significant amount, over $20,000 in marketing a month, that doesn't for inbound leads, that doesn't have boots on the ground.
Yeah, you got to have boots on the ground.
You have to. Yeah. There you go. Lath says, hello. Oh, Lath. Okay. Little thirst trap pick. Okay. I see you. Can I sub to a short sale? It's priced under market value and I want to purchase it as a rental property. No. If you're going to sub to a loan, you're taking over the loan. You're catching that loan up typically. If it's a short sale, they're typically behind on payments. So you have to catch it up. And you can't just take over the loan after it's been negotiated lower, right?
Right. Well,
you can't negotiate to take a loss on the loan and then just start making payments on the, oh, well, all of a sudden this $150,000 loan is now $100,000. And yeah, I'll take that over.
Yeah, they want their cash.
Of course.
Yeah.
So great question. And even a greater picture. Go get it. You heartbreaker. Look at this guy. Awesome. Uh-oh. Brandon Mitchell, another one signed up just now. Let's go. TTP.
Nice job.
Brandon, from those proceeds, you're going to buy a plane ticket to come join us on the show. Brandon's been part of the show for 4 years.
Can
right?
we give Brandon a bell? I mean, that just
Oh,
sounds like
yeah.
a bell.
Oh,
Come on,
geez,
God,
Louise,
come
what are you
on.
doing? I'm having an aneurysm.
Let's go.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Great job.
Last question here that is starred. AI Entrepreneur says, hi, what are your thoughts on infill lots and new construction in 2025?
I don't do a lot of those.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I mean, I focus to the bigger lists. I mean, so we don't have targeted campaigns or marketing going out to those. If we come across that kind of stuff, and then yeah, we push it because the network is solid. We have people that specialize in infill lots. They'll subdivide them if they're big enough, and then they'll add permits and go through this whole process that sometimes takes 6 months to a year, and then it'll double the price of the lot or maybe even more, and then make a good chunk of cash. But that to me, it's a wrench in the process of the stuff that we're niched out it. So to us, focus on finding properties and assigning wholesale.
Well, guys, and by the way, we're going to have Matt Camp pop in here in just a couple minutes. Deal Machine's got some unbelievable new features that we're going to be talking about. But before we do, 2025, going into 2025, where do you see the market? Is it flat? Is it going down? Is it going up? Is it wiggly? What do you think?
I think
The way that you're feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're gonna see some movement on it. I think it's gonna hold steady for now, just because there's always a delay in everything. So nothing just kind of switches and kind of, unless it's 2008, but I think there's going to be a delay right now. The way it's set up to be, and maybe see some changes in mid-year, June, July, August. But I mean, I don't know. I feel good about it. I feel like right now just holding steady. We are seeing more demand on the buyer side. So buyers are waking up again. They kind of went to sleep back in June, July. They're waking up over the last month and a half. We've seen more action there. Another thing that's very interesting is that we've locked more deals on the seller side, and the conversations are getting a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
So they sort of get the memos like, a lot of these people start getting realistic about what they can get for the properties.
Yep.
So I think we're hitting that sweet spot that usually lasts about a quarter, 1 to 3 months, and then people get crazy again. But I mean, I think we're there. Good. We're gonna have we're projecting for a good,
if
end of the year, first quarter.
If one of your students said, Raph, I want to do some flips in 2025, 2026, 2027, you know what I mean? I want to start implementing this. Do you think that they should be worried that we're going to see something that happened in 2022 or do you think that they should just stay focused on what would your advice be to them?
I'd cherry pick the hell out of them if you do.
Yeah.
Like I mean, go in there, make it a no brainer.
Yep.
I mean, and we've done that in the past. Even when I, do flips myself, it's because it's okay. I see something is like, it's a no brainer. But it has to be aggressive. It can't be one of those deals that, I want to create a deal, so I'm going to make it a flip, because then you can be, stuck holding the bag. So be cautious there.
Yeah, I say I always advise wholesale it.
Sure.
I'm just saying, but if you were to like burning desire, like I've got to do on like what you mentioned, if it's in the median house range under great school district, those products seem to do the best.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, if you're going high end of all of those things, big full remodels or gut jobs, like I would say absolutely not.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Thanks for being on here.
Absolutely.
I'm going to bring on Matt and we're going to wrap up this show, but really awesome to have you here.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. You're the best.
Damn.
A creative playbook, creative finance playbook, and Pulse CEO.
REI Wholesale Academy. Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
REI Wholesale Academy. There we go. All right.
Bam.
Raph, will you move this camera so that I'm in the middle of it there? And I'm going to bring on Matt Camp. Matt Camp, what's up? How are you?
Hey, doing great, Brent. That was great, man. I'm excited to be on here. Good seeing you.
Well, let's jump right in and let's see what is going on. How can we get more deals in 2025?
That's why I'm here, man. I love it. I know, just quick little intro. I know our mission over at Deal Machine is to give everyone the power of real estate investing, give you guys tools like this to go out and do more deals like Brent's talking about right here. I mean, we love teaming up, Brent. I mean, when did you start using Deal Machine? 2017? Like basically when we started.
Yeah. 2017. Yep.
So we've been teaming up for years on this stuff, man. It's awesome to get in front of your community because I know you guys are full of action takers who are leading with that massive and perfect action. I know we've had over 10,000 closing in on 15,000 deals done using Deal Machine. So
15,000 deals using an app.
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
Well, it's more than an app now at this point, but it used to be just a Driving for Dollars app. And now you guys have all sorts of crazy AI and you have all of this crazy deep dive skip tracing. So why don't we get into that? And some of these new features so that people can, see what's going on and then go out there and find some deals.
Yeah. And that's what like our whole goal is to give you guys that edge, right? Like we're always focused on innovating, on making it better and better and better. And so that you guys are the ones setting the pace in your market. And especially the people who jump in on these new tools, it's like the ones who are those early adopters, right, are going to get that competitive advantage. Like that's what we want to give you guys with this. So I'll briefly walk through. We've got kind of two major things we just announced last week. We had our Unveiled event. Tell me in the chat if you guys went to that. That was an awesome event. I had a ton of people on there. But we had two major things we announced last week. One of them is a new way to really find these hidden deals using AI in this way. So I'll show you guys that. And I know, Brian, you made an awesome challenge to your community last week about this too. So I want to hear an update on this too. But so that's the first one. And then the second one, I'll go through just a new way to track down property owners, kind of using our next level skip tracing. So is that cool if I kind of show off both new things, man?
Go bananas.
There we go. Love it. With that too, guys, I do want to remind you guys as well. I know we do have literally tonight at midnight is when it expires. We've been putting out a Black Friday sale. So it's something that if you're in a spot where you're wanting to do more deals next year, you want to bet on yourself, you want to get that early, competitive advantage, right? That early adopter advantage. We do have that link in there, just dealmachine.com/unveiled TTP. If you guys have a chance to throw that link out there, I know it's 50% off a whole year Deal Machine. So that expires tonight. So I want to make sure you guys are aware of that too.
Awesome.
But with this, what you can do with it here, guys, I want to jump into this to start off with that first announcement. Like I mentioned, you can see my Deal Machine screen here, right, Brent?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So the first part of this announcement, again, it's focused on helping you use AI to really build a unique niche list at scale. And so, broad lists, right? Like anything that's easy to get a hold of is going to be more competitive. It's going to be less effective in terms of response rates. The real value here, right, is when you can build that unique list that no one else has. I mean, that's why Driving for Dollars works so well.
Give us examples of some of those broad lists, Matt, for anybody that's just starting out.
Yeah, I mean, anything around. I mean, these quick filters are great to work with, but you can. I mean, you've got absentee owners, you've got tax delinquencies, you've got high equity. Like these are just big, broad, general filters that yes are powerful individual data points. There we go, Christopher, love it. There's a Rhino tribe. So you've got these big, broad individual filters that yes, it can be a great individual data point. That I'm not saying ignore that point, but if you just start there, you pull this general list that anyone else can get a hold of, like you're one of many people potentially reaching out to that seller, right? That's why Driving for Dollars still works so well. That's why it's something that's worked for decades. It's, we've brought technology to make Driving for Dollars and all of this way more efficient and effective, but it's still, still the goal is how do you build a list no one else has? And so what you can start off with is that criteria. You can come in here and start building that list, start filtering out. Which, Brent, do you want to give me a zip code here real quick to kind of show this in action?
85042.
85042. Here we go. So start building a list like you would in Deal Machine. What you're looking at here for those unfamiliar, you've got the map right here, right? Where this top bar is our filter bar. You're using 700 plus different data points between seller motivations, property characteristics, all kinds of different stuff to dig into. You can start building that list here with that data. That's still a very powerful way to go about thinking about this. But now as we build this list here, you can use what we're calling AI Vision. So our AI Vision builder on top of this data. And so you can come in here. I'll show you guys a couple filters that we highly recommend starting off with. But that next level is how do you can take AI now and have it look visually at these properties. It's going to be able to look at the property data, the demographic data, the contact data, all that, but now also satellite imaging, Google Street Image, all of that right there is the ability to have AI instantly go dig deep on those and identify things for you just by prompting it to say, hey, go look for this or go look for that. So that's what I'm excited to teach you guys here with if that works, man.
Absolutely.
So getting into that too, again, we have the overall map. We've got, 15,051 properties in 85042. I'd always recommend starting off, and we're going single family here. So, pop open that property type and go to single family. Your quick filters right here. You can click on that and scroll down and go to off market. That's kind of that baseline of data that I always recommend you guys start with is a location. So zip code, single family for property type, and then off market. So you've kind of got this initial baseline of data that you can be analyzing. And then, we're at 11,382 properties at this point. Then from here, you can start thinking about, some of those property characteristics and seller motivations. Things like, hey, has that property not been sold in a while? When's the last sale date of this individual property? So you can come in here and say, yeah, show me properties that haven't sold in at least 10 years, right? Because that's going to mean that this individual has a much more likelihood of looking to sell. You're weeding out the people who have bought recently. You're giving yourself a chance to get in front of the people who are the most likely to sell in your market, right? So we can start layering on these individual data points here, Brent. Things like year built, things like high equity. Is a great kind of initial quick filter here. But being able to think through these individual data points, the really exciting thing here, guys, is that as you continue to layer these on top of each other, you've got, for example, high equity. We could say tired landlord. So here's a great kind of list here to look at. Properties that haven't sold in a while. They have a lot of equity. They're tired landlords, single family, off market. Great. So you're kind of going through and putting on these different data filters. We've got 700 plus data filters to work with here. So you can start there, Brent. And then this next step is what's so exciting. This is what we launched last week. So all this kind of, baseline, you can take it to that next level by using this AI Vision Builder. And so if you see that little button here at the bottom, try AI Vision Builder, you pop this open. And now this is where the real magic happens, is you can start to prompt the AI to tell it to go act on this particular list. So you've got 700 properties, right? Brent, I know you talked about kind of the prompting. Do you want to kind of give people reiterate for them like what it means to prompt the AI and like how to think about this, the power of this here?
Yeah, it's interesting here in Phoenix. We have a lot of solar panel companies that go out and they door knock and they get people to put solar panels on their roofs. And it is crazy the amount of people that have solar panels and don't take care of the inside of their house. It is wild. Mm-hmm. And they've owned these properties for a while. They think it's a good idea to put solar on it. And there's just a big correlation between those people that we work with and solar panels. And so I would look for all the ones that have been owned at least 7 years that have solar panels.
Yeah, that's great. That's a perfect example here. And really any of these prompts here, I mean, you can get very specific locally. That's a great example. I know you talked about like empty swimming
pools.
Yep. That's another example. Literally anything visual about the property. You could say, we have corner lots right here. We've got, you could say detached garage. You could say, just anything visual about the property, structural or how it looks. It can now do that analysis instantly inside Deal Machine and tell you, hey, here's a unique list of all those houses that fit this prompt you're giving it. And so you can jump into Deal Machine and say, great, I've got this initial baseline of data, all these different data filters I've got on here that are a great kind of initial broad list. But to make this unique and niche and one that no one else has, I can then go in here and now say, well, let me prompt this with that AI command here. So one great example of how to write these prompts is under distressed properties, this button right here. These are all preset for you. So if you've never prompted, our AI assistant before, we can help you out. We've tested all these out and made sure they're really, really
go the good for wholesaling one.
Yeah. So good for wholesaling. It's a great example saying, hey, you know what? Look at the data. Look at things like, hey, what are the estimated repair costs? What is the ARV? You know, is there potential to acquire it for below market value? Could I potentially assign it for 20K? These individual factors, you can come in here and change. You could say, hey, you know what, I want to do a 50K deal, right? You can change that on the fly. But all of this, it can be visual data, it can be data analysis. All of that is just one prompt away where you're giving that AI specific directions of what to do with this list of properties. And so like the distressed properties button, for example, you click on this, here's what a good prompt looks like to really do this effectively. So this prompt, it gives it specific guidelines. It says, hey, identify properties showing visible signs of distress in satellite and street view images. Awesome. It's got, clear directions. Look for things like neglected landscaping, structural damage, broken roofs, etc. So you've got all this here kind of defining what to look for. You're giving it clear direction, right? Very clear guidelines. And then also it says, hey, properties don't need to show all these things, but should receive a higher score if they're present. So it's giving it this general, this kind of more specific direction of what to do. The third step with this prompt is to make sure you kind of have this matching score dialed in too, where, if you want to be able to have this prompt fit exactly, the analysis, right? If you're very strict about the prompt you're putting in, it's got to fit all this very specifically, crank it up higher. If it's more of a general prompt of, hey, just show me houses that have general distress, you know what, maybe you can take it down lower. But once you have this kind of prompt dialed in, this list count dialed in, and this matching score dialed in, you're ready to actually run the analysis. So that's where it will come in. And, previously you've had to, we know vendors who literally charge 5 figures a quarter to do this kind of AI analysis. We know, you can virtual drive for dollars. Like that was what you used to have to do to look at visual distress, right? Is have to click around and spend hours doing that. Now with these 700 properties, I can go in, hit build with AI vision. I will mention it is 2 cents per property for the AI to run the analysis. It's finally cheap enough and effective enough for that to be worthwhile, but you can actually go in and make sure you're doing this in a budget conscious way where you're not analyzing, 70,000 properties, right? But you click that confirm build, and now it's going to actually go through based on your prompt, based on all of this data, the visual data, the satellite imaging, the street view imaging, based on the matching score and, all of this lined up right here is actually going to go through in real time. It'll take a few minutes since we've got a big, big list here, and tell you here are the properties that fit your analysis, and kind of pick those needles out of the haystack. Where we had 700 general properties, now we're going to find, X number of ones that are actually really high quality leads because they have that visual sign of distress on top of everything else. So
awesome. What was the website that people can get 50% off?
Yeah, it's that link is dealmachine.com/unveiled TTP. So if you go in there, and here, let me actually get a little bit of a smaller list for you so you can see this in action here, because it might take a minute. But it's dealmachine.com.
Yeah, we gotta wrap up the show here, Matt. We're running late. We're running way late here, bud.
You're good, man. You're good.
Yeah.
Here, let me show you this little block here for you guys. So yeah, dealmachine.com/unveiled TTP. And then
I put it in the chat there, guys, for 50% off. Yep.
Awesome. So here's what it's going to look like here going through a list. So it'll actually pull all that for you there. The other thing that is pretty mind-blowing that I do want to share here real quick, Brent, not to run too long on you guys, but you have this example property button. If you click into this is one thing that you can come in, and especially if you've done a deal before, or if you know somebody who's like, hey, here's the perfect deal that I would love to do myself, you can actually come in and attach an example address. So I could say, hey, here, for example, in Kirkwood, which is an area of St. Louis that I personally did a deal there like 6 months ago or so. It was a lot that had a house that was basically falling over. And that area's got a lot of new development going on, a lot of nice houses being built. I wholesaled it to a new builder back again like 6 months ago. And so I went back into Deal Machine and said, you know what, let me attach that address and pick out Kirkwood, that entire zip code, and show me every single property that is looking like this deal inside that address. So it will go in, reverse engineer what made that a good deal, and build you a lookalike list accordingly, which is pretty unbelievable.
Is there a whole training on this, Matt?
Yeah, I know we've done. We have it on our YouTube channel, and then we had that one training on your channel as well that I think can give you kind of a step by step here as well too. Make sure you guys are using it to its full potential here too.
Awesome, guys. Check that out. Deal Machine I put Dell Machine. That's hilarious. I'm going to put it in the chat here. Dealmachine.com. Half off for the year is bananas, guys.
Yep.
This
Their
is
best deal of the year. Yeah.
Number one tool for real estate wholesalers. I mean, it's not even close. And so they've got free skip tracing. They've got deep dive, super duper skip tracing that nobody else has when you're trying to get a hold of somebody and you can't get a hold of them because there's no accurate phone numbers. They're now taking it to a private investigator level style skip tracing. It's absolutely incredible. Guys, get that locked in. Dealmachine.com/unveiled TTP.
Yeah, man, that's the last thing we added there last week too, is that corporate skip tracing. We've taken our skip tracing match to the next level. It was previously like 74% contact match rate. Now with this new corporate owned skip tracing LLC owner match data, it is 95% match rate nationwide for single family homes. So it is like unbelievable. You're able to find these deals, these leads that other people can't, because it'll show you LLC owned properties now, the agent and organizer, up to 5 LLC layers deep. So get out there. And again, the people who jump on this early, that take that early adopter advantage, are going to see the most out of this in their own market. So use this AI to help you with that list building. Use the LLC data to be able to track down leads others can, and go out there and do more deals.
Awesome. Matt, thanks for joining us, guys. Check out dealmachine.com. You can always use, if you're watching this months from now, you can use the coupon code TTP at checkout and get the free trial and a bunch of other goodies. And Matt will take care of you because you're part of our crew. So absolutely incredible, Matt. Thanks for being on here, bud.
Yeah, great seeing you, Brent. Appreciate having me on.
Right. See you, man. Awesome show, guys. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being on here. Do me a favor. If you're getting value, obviously subscribe, hit the like, all that. That's fantastic. Even more important, actually implement, right? Go find 2,000 addresses. Find 2,000 addresses of people that own rundown or original condition properties and do everything that you can to have a conversation with them. Spend 3 hours a day or 15 hours a week in the process of hunting for these conversations, for being in conversations with property owners every single week. We have 168 hours in a week. I'm asking for 15 hours. I'm asking for less than 10% of your weekly time to commit to this business, to be able to make 6 figures plus, to be able to replace your current 9-to-5, to be able to find unbelievable opportunities for you to raise funds, for you to do really great things, for you to build your portfolio, to go out and buy assets. We can only spend money, save money, or risk money. That's it. But let's get as much in. We need the money to be able to do one of those 3 things. The only way we can do that is have conversations and make offers. Have conversations, make offers, and upgrade in 2025. Upgrade in 2025. Get a real estate license. Understand creative finance. Understand novations. Understand cash offers. Understand all these things. Build the 30 people that'll send you 1 deal a year. Build up your referral database. It is time to upgrade the whole. If you are part of this channel and have been watching this, or maybe you're just brand new, but if you've certainly been watching this more than 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 videos, I see some questions about, I'm not sure what to say to property owners. I've got it all laid out for you, brother. I got it all laid out, Jacob. It's all in this channel. You can literally just search this channel right now, what to say to property owners, how to convert more deals. I've got it all laid out. It's bananas. It's all here. And if you really want to take it to the next level, we have incredible Black Friday. We're doing this to the end of the year, till 2025, for our mentorship at wholesalinginc.com. Check out wholesalinginc.com. Get in there. Get on a call with us. Get into the Rhino Tribe. No community in the country. No group. No coaching program. Nobody closes more deals than the Rhino Tribe. It's not even close. It's not even close. There's no fluff. It's just instruction, and it's people that are out there having conversations, making offers all day long. You want to be with the best of the best. You want to be in the fastest moving lane there is in real estate investing. It is at wholesalinginc.com. It's not even close. I love you guys. Thank you for participating. I'll see you next week. Remember this, keep your house clean, protect your health, increase your value to the world, and you'll live a fantastic life. Hold on, Luke, come on up. Luke did a fantastic job today. He's my incredible video editor, and he's taking over for Matt, who just had a baby. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.